After Lisa Bluder retired this week from Iowa women's basketball, I got to thinking about football coach Kirk Ferentz over there. How much longer do you think he wants to keep going? I've got some theories about that. I'll tell you. Lockdown Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Lockdown Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, coming up on 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the podcast, the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And if you're new to us, welcome aboard as well. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get started. So, is this Kirk Ferentz's swan song? We'll discuss that. Plus, we've got the latest news around the Big Ten and our Big Ten classics. Hang around for that. There's some great ones coming up this weekend on the Big Ten Network where we share it. But I honestly thought that Kirk Ferentz might retire after the 2023 football season. Had to be an exhausting year, physically and emotionally, for a 68-year-old coach, plus 25 years as a head coach. That's a long time. They made it to the Big Ten championship game. They won 10 games, doing more with less than just about any coach I've ever seen. Just when I thought, though, he might step away, and I'll give you the reasons I thought he would, he did seem a little re-energized a little bit and ready for a little bit more as the Big Ten begins a new era with the addition of 4 Pac-12 teams, and the Big Ten is now 18 teams strong, of course. So, and probably more teams to come. You know, when Ferentz arrived at Iowa as an assistant coach back in the day under Hayden Fry in the 1980s as an offensive line coach, you know, there were actually 10 teams in the Big Ten. Go figure. But that was a long, long time ago. But he's seen a lot, and he seems like he wants to see a little more, at least a little. But then women's basketball coach Lisa Bluder, fresh off her handling of the whole Caitlin Clark craziness and all the success that they had, she suddenly retired after 24 years on the bench. And it got me to thinking about Kirk Ferentz again. And I wonder if he'll follow her out the door anytime soon. First of all, there's a new athletic director in place, Beth Getz. She took over last summer. That's fine. But longtime AD Gary Barta and Ferentz were pretty close back in the day. Now, funny things happen when new athletic directors come in and take over. It seems like things start to change a little bit. And it kind of felt that way a little bit with Lisa Bluder. Don't know if there was any connection to that or not, but I was as surprised as anybody when she decided to hang it up and walk away. Soon after Getz's arrival last summer, she oversaw the firing of Ferentz's son, offensive coordinator Brian Ferentz, from the football team. And in all fairness, those wheels were in motion before she took over, as Ferentz and the Hawkeyes offense had to hit certain statistical benchmarks in order to keep his job. That was put into place earlier. And I think that had to do with Gary Barta being close to Ferentz. And I think he probably massaged that situation with the school president. This is me guessing, educated guess, how these things work and what probably took place there. But needless to say, if you follow Hawkeyes football, you know that this team did not come close to those marks. And then it was announced by Getz that Brian would not return in 2024. But that announcement came at a weird time when the team was right in the middle, about 2/3 of the way through their season, fighting to have a chance at a Big Ten championship and on their way to somehow winning 10 games last year, despite no offense. Kirk Ferentz said all the right things all along, before, during, and after, because he's a professional and he's a good guy, and he's human. But it had to hurt because he's human. That had to hurt, being forced to let your son go. There has to be some deep down resentment somewhere in there, the way all that went down. But I honestly believe he loves his players and that he loves being around them. And that fact may have overruled any internal thoughts of retiring. I think that connection seems to energize him. That connection with the players still energizes him. But for how long? That's the question. Ferentz is under contract until 2029. That would put him in his mid-70s. I'm certain he won't be around Iowa football at the end of that deal. Plus, Ferentz is old school. He saw this world of name, image, and likeness and transfer portals, and he saw what it has done. It's done to other veteran coaches like Nick Saban and Chip Kelly. How much does Ferentz want to deal with all that stuff? I don't know. Iowa hasn't exactly dominated the transfer portal as of late. I thought they could have brought in some more talent, some more speed, some more receivers. They didn't overall anyway. And, that might be the most important part of coaching nowadays in this new era of college football. So I got to also think of what happens if Ferentz does leave, for example. Cicadas become active more often than Iowa changes football coaches. Before Ferentz, Hayden Fry was there for 20 years. Ferentz is entering year 26. It's almost a half a century with just two coaches. It's stability. I'll give you that. At least when Lisa Bluder retired from basketball, Beth Getz just kind of looked at the next chair on the bench and gave longtime assistant Jan Jensen her much-deserved break. Easy job, easy decision, right? Just, all right, give it to the longtime assistant there. We're good to go. Let's keep some continuity. Everything's cool. Does such a person exist for Iowa football, though? Or is 2024 an audition for new offensive coordinator Tim Lester? Maybe he could be next man up if there were ever a change at the top. And that might actually be the case. Although I'm not sure how good he's going to look with this offense that they have. This was a hard position to fill. It took a long time to fill the offensive coordinator position at Iowa. I think a lot of guys looked at it and go, this might not be great for my career. I'm a good offensive coordinator, but I don't have a lot of speed and talent to deal with here and make myself look good. I think it was a big factor. It could actually hinder one's coaching future possibilities. And that's why, this has become, but, they finally landed on Tim Lester, and because really nobody else was really banging on the door, to be honest. And, it's a feather in his cap, though, that he does have some head coaching experience, having coached Western Michigan from 2017 to 2022. A quick look on the outside, and one realizes after 25 seasons that Ferentz, as much good as he's brought to the program overall, does not have much of a coaching tree. Thought that was interesting. I was a little surprised when I looked that up for you here for this podcast here today. Maybe Joe Philbin, but he's more of an NFL guy. Brett Bielema, maybe. Does he count? He's kind of a holdover from the Hayden Fry days, and he's at Illinois, and he was at Wisconsin. I don't know if he would want a third Big Ten job. He's got a job at Illinois right now, but, and maybe he wants to come back to the alma mater someday. I don't know. He might be the biggest name out there, though, frankly, with any Iowa ties, if you think about it. I mean, it's been a long time since anybody else was calling the shots at Iowa football before Kirk Ferentz. Anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. Nobody on this podcast, anyway, is actually trying to push Ferentz out the door. We're just trying to look into a crystal ball, get in his head a little bit, kind of figure out what's going on moving forward. And he'll leave when he's good and ready on his own. He's earned that much. It'd be tough to say otherwise for a guy that's been there a quarter of a century. So we look forward to the Hawkeyes 2024 season, and we hope they have success. We like talking about them here on this podcast. Hey, if you haven't yet, if you're brand new, because we're growing leaps and bounds every day. People are discovering this podcast every day. And by the way, with your help too, thank you. Spread the word of mouth. If you know somebody that likes Big Ten, we're here every day. Be sure to subscribe real quick before you go. Just click the button. That's it. Nothing else is required. It's free. And we're in this same group together. Big Ten stuff all the time. So subscribe and follow Locked On Big Ten for free wherever you get your podcast. And that way you get the latest episode of this podcast as soon as it becomes available each and every day. All right, so we got a lot of news to get to here. I'm always keeping an eye on the transfer portal for you. So that is coming up here, and even a little basketball news at the end. You want to hang tight for that. And we're going to explore Ryan Day. He's talking again about this quarterback situation of his, and what is he going to do? And are we running into deja vu from last summer and fall? We'll get to all that in due time. Plus, we'll have our classics and live action on the Big Ten Network right here on Locked On Big Ten. FanDuel, it's winner take all time. In the NBA and NHL, we are deep into the playoffs, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. All right, tonight, Thursday night, Game 6, Nuggets and Timberwolves. Nuggets lead the series 3-2. Timberwolves are 2.5-point favorites here. I don't know. I kind of get the feeling that this is the knockout punch for the Nuggets right here. I take the Nuggets on that one. I take the over at 204.5. That's low. Friday, a look ahead. Tomorrow, Panthers at Bruins. Panthers lead 3-2. They could not close out Game 5. Again, another shot at it here at Game 6, although it's on the road. I do like the Panthers to finally do it. So there you have it. FanDuel.com/locked on. That's FanDuel.com/locked on. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I want to thank all of you for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially you everydayers out there. And again, welcome if you're brand new. Meanwhile, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And don't forget to peruse our website, Talk Big Ten, number 10, talkbig10.com. All of our podcasts are there. You can check it out. You can get some merch there, shirts, hats, pennants, but all of our podcasts are there. Go find your favorite team or school, if it's grouped by the school or chronologically speaking, all right there at your fingertips. Catch another episode as soon as you're done with this one. It'll be awesome. Now, stop me if you've heard this before. Ryan Day doesn't want his Ohio State quarterback competition lingering into the season again like it did last year. I know it's ideal to have that worked out ahead of time. That was the storyline last year. Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, they battled into like week 2 of the regular season, right? Day has stated before that he would prefer to have that position buttoned down going into game week of the first game. It just didn't work out that way last year. Excuse me. But you can fast forward to 2024 and Day and the Buckeyes, they're sifting through 5 quarterbacks now. Last year it was 2. This year it's 5. All have eyes on the starting job. They said that ultimately it will come down to playing the best players, like always. But as it stands today, it seems that transfer Will Howard has a bit of a leg up on the gig, followed by Devin Brown. Redshirt freshman Lincoln Kienholz is still there. He's still battling. And true freshman Julian Sand, both Kienholz and Sand got a lot of snaps in the spring. And don't forget Aaron Nolan out there. Now, there were stories, we talked about it here, that Kienholz, he was an in-demand quarterback out of high school who was well recruited back in the day. He might be the odd man out. He hit the transfer portal. Transfer portal's closed. He's still there. To his credit, staying there. He thinks he's got a shot at this thing, and he's fighting for it. I like that, actually, in this day and age. Still in Columbus, fighting for the gig. So we'll see how that all plays out. You got 5 quarterbacks. Also, you know that we always keep a vigilant eye open on the transfer portal. USC offensive lineman Cooper Lovelace announced that he is moving on, but he's staying in the Big Ten. He's going to go to Northwestern. Not a lot of guys from Southern Cal go to Chicago and Northwestern. That doesn't happen a lot. But it was cool. He posted a picture of himself on social media when he was a baby on Twitter or X, and it shows him wearing a Northwestern shirt. So I guess he's secretly known for a while he would end up there. So he's going there. So congratulations to him on that decision. And here's a swap for the Spartans for you Michigan State fans. They just lost a defensive lineman to Oregon, and now they're going to get one back from Oregon. Ducks sophomore defensive tackle Ben Roberts announced that he's transferring to Michigan State. He's 6'2". He's 310 pounds. His nickname is the Big Worm. Big Worm. He's coming to Michigan State. Got 2 years of eligibility left. That comes after the Spartans just lost defensive tackle Derek Harmon to Oregon earlier this month. That was a big blow, but at least they get a guy back. It's like a trade. We're basically trading players in college football now. Can you believe it? And by the way, add one more player to Indiana coach Mike Woodson's top-ranked transfer portal roster. 6'10", 248-pound big man Langdon Hatton from Bellarmine and formerly William and Mary. He's coming to Bloomington. He's a Georgetown, Indiana native from North Harrison High School. He averaged 11 points and 7 rebounds while starting all 31 games last year, and he made a third of his three-pointers, like 15 of 45. Not a high-volume guy, but he can hit them. Indiana, who looked like it would have trouble filling its roster once the basketball season ended. They had 0 recruits signed up. They now have 12 players under scholarship for the 2024-2025 season. Mike Woodson and the staff have done a great job. I don't know if they're done or not. I think he's got one more scholarship to play with, I think. Nevertheless, big turnaround here in the offseason. Mike Woodson getting after it. I'm excited to see the Hoosiers this year. A lot of big expectations for them. They're climbing up people's top 25, not too early, top 25 college basketball polls already. I've asked you this before. If you've been with us, do you watch TV in the daytime? ESPN, Fox, FS1, talking heads, talking over each other, just really not saying much of anything or just saying it loudly. Sometimes you got to turn the volume down. Well, I got another option for you here. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without any of the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV Channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, we always look ahead on Thursdays to the weekend. Again, if you're new, we always have features in our final segment. And on Thursdays, we look ahead to the Big Ten Network. Again, we are not affiliated with the Big Ten Network. We just cover the same stuff, except we do it in depth right here, directly to you. But we do like to look at the Big Ten schedule over the weekend and cherry pick the things that we like. Big Ten classics and live action over the weekend. We'll share that with you. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Big Ten. I want to tell you about Game Time. You want to go to a game? You need a ticket. You need a ticket? You go to Game Time. Game Time has an app. So easy to use. Every game you could think of. In fact, they're more than just games. Games, theater, comedy, music, concerts, all right there on your phone on the Game Time app. Very easy. Couple of taps. Boom. You got what you're looking for. They even show you a picture of the seat of the ticket you're about to buy, so you can see if you have a good view or not. They got a lot of last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off on buying last-minute sports and concerts and comedy tickets. They also have zone deals. Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. You'll save that way. And they've got all-in pricing. It shows you the price right up front. There's no add-ons later as you keep on moving through the shopping carts and all that stuff. So check it out. It is the Game Time app. Great way to get NBA tickets, MLB tickets, whatever you want right there at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and the redeem code LOCKEDONCollege. That's LOCKEDONCollege. Locked On College for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, I want to take a look now at our Big Ten Classics coming up the weekend. If you're on audio only, I will describe this to you in detail. We'll put it on the big board. There's a lot going on here that we want to check out and have some fun with. First of all, we'll start it off, always start on Friday. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing that we do here. So we'll start it off. These are all Eastern times, 2 o'clock Eastern time on the Big Ten Network. Big Ten football in 60. It's highlights, just play after play after play, buttoned down into 60 minutes. They got Michigan State at Rutgers from October of 2023. Kyle Monangai, what a great runner he was. Ran for 148 yards, scored a game-winning touchdown as the Scarlet Knights rallied from an 18-point fourth quarter deficit to beat the Spartans 27-24. Yikes on the Spartans defense on that one. At 4 o'clock, you got Big Ten football in 60, Minnesota at Northwestern from September. This was an amazing game. This is when we started going, maybe Northwestern is going to be pretty good this year. Ben Bryant threw for 396 yards and 4 touchdowns, including a game-winning pass to Charlie Mangieri in overtime to help the Wildcats secure a 37-34 comeback win against the Gophers. They were down big, came back, and I was like, whoa, this season might be special for Northwestern. At 5 o'clock, we've got some live Big Ten baseball, final weekend of the regular season, Nebraska at Michigan State. By the way, the Big Ten tournament, I believe, starts Tuesday of next week. And then we've got Illinois at Purdue, more baseball at 8 o'clock. Moving ahead to Saturday, the 18th, noon, Big Ten baseball, Nebraska at Michigan State, and then Illinois at Purdue at 3 o'clock. Now, let's fast forward just a little bit to 8 o'clock. There's a Nebraska football classic on, Northwestern at Nebraska. This is from 2013. Got a game-ending Hail Mary from Ron Kellogg III to Jordan Westerkamp, lifting Nebraska over Northwestern in Lincoln. So you Husker fans want to check that one out. And here's one that's near and dear to my heart as an Indiana grad. 9 o'clock, the big moment, Christian Watford. You can join Indiana's Christian Watford, his parents, Verdell Jones III, and more as they reflect on Watford's game-winning shot over number 1 Kentucky at Assembly Hall. It went down as one of the biggest shots in Hoosier history. That's some fun Saturday night watching right there. All right, let's go look to Sunday. Pick it up at noon. Sunday at noon, we got a Michigan football classic. It is Ohio State at Michigan from 2023. You know how this worked out, Wolverine fans. Blake Corum, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. The third-ranked Wolverines got a 30-24 victory over the second-ranked Buckeyes. But in all fairness, let's follow that up with a Buckeye win after that, 230. Ohio State football classic, Michigan and Ohio State, 2014, where the Buckeyes pulled away from Michigan in the fourth quarter behind 121 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns from Zeke Elliott. That's right. By the way, he just signed back with the Cowboys here a couple weeks ago. At 4 o'clock, a Rutgers football classic, Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, Rutgers versus Miami just this past December. Again, Kyle Monangai, 163 yards and a touchdown. The Scarlet Knights get the bowl win, have a great season for them, and defeated the Hurricanes 31-24 at Yankee Stadium. It's kind of a dreary day. Miami can't handle the offsetting weather. Rutgers can, though. 5 o'clock, we got Big Ten Elite. Looks at the 1986 Penn State football team. They finished that season 11-0. Big road win at Alabama. And the Nittany Lions went on to beat number 1 Miami 14-10 in the Fiesta Bowl and win the school's second national title in 4 years. The glory days of Penn State. At 6 o'clock, more Penn State football classic, Notre Dame at Penn State from 1987. All right, you can go back in the time machine here. Linebacker Pete Kirkendall tackling Notre Dame's Tony Rice to stop a 2-point conversion attempt. And the Nittany Lions hang on 21-20 to win over the 7th-ranked Fighting Irish. That was at Beaver Stadium. Place was happening that night. And at 8 o'clock, we have an Iowa football classic. Michigan at Iowa in 1985. The number 1 Hawkeyes defeated the number 2 Wolverines in nail-biting fashion as time expired. And Rob Houghton delivered his 4th field goal of the game to lift the Hawkeyes over the Wolverines 12-10. Kinnick Stadium went nuts. I actually remember that game. 1985. 10 o'clock Eastern time. Another Michigan football classic. Ohio State at Michigan from 1997, where Heisman Trophy winner Charles Woodson scored on a 78-yard punt return to help the top-ranked Wolverines beat the 4th-ranked Buckeyes 2014 to remain undefeated for the season. So there you have it. We'll look at our Big Ten classics and live action both over the weekend. Give you something to do if you need a break from whatever else you're doing. Just kick back and enjoy Big Ten athletics. All right, that's awesome. There are many ways for you to interact with me on Twitter or X. See it down here at Talk Big Ten, number 10. Follow me. I'll follow you. Don't forget, we got Tuesday tweets. Show all your tweets on Tuesday's podcast. Also, you can hit us up on YouTube with comments. And don't forget our website, talkbig10, number 10.com. FanDuel.com, where all of our podcasts are chronologically and also by school. So you can find it. If we talked about your school, like today, we talked about Iowa. This one will be filed away under the Iowa section. So be easy for you to find. So subscribe if you don't mind before you go. That's real quick and easy, and that helps us out. Always appreciate that. You can follow this podcast right now on your favorite podcast app, and you'll get the latest episode of Locked On Big Ten as soon as it becomes available each and every day. Check out another episode after this one. And then when you're done, check out our friends at Locked On Sports Today, with you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On. Well, that was a blast as always. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Can't wait till we meet again next time. Tell your friends about us. We'll all do it together. Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. We'll talk to you next time.